Hello, friends. Stacy Anfinson here with your Torreport market update. It's August 7th, not August 17th. Sorry for that typo. Today we're going to talk about a perceived standoff in the market between buyers and sellers. Sellers don't want to give their house away. Buyers don't want to pay the prices. So let's see who's winning. And actually, we're not really going to say who's winning, but we're going to show you some metrics about what happens when we have a little bit of a disconnect between the two. So remember, we still have an undersupply of housing, which makes all this rather economically confusing for me. So why are prices being dropped and listings withdrawn? So bullet point number one, are sellers and listing agents correctly analyzing market conditions? Current prices too high because of not understanding market conditions? Increased competition from new homes? And the buyers say, I'm not paying that price. The seller's saying, I'm not giving my house away mentality. Sorry if that last one caused PTSD for you listing agents, but I had to throw that in there. All right, here's our months of housing supply. In July, this is the 11th consecutive month where we've had an undersupply of housing, which is really, in theory, you should not have these challenges with inventory that we're having when you have an undersupplied market. So next slide. Let's see what's happening with new home listings. 404%. That's a big jump. We're at 2689 in July, end of month this year, versus 534 July of 2021. A couple more years down the road, we'll get these COVID things out of here, and the market will look a little bit more normal than having the spikes that COVID produced on the market. So. Got two lines for you here. This is listings added to the market. The blue bars are total listings added to the market, and the blue line is resale listings added to the market. You can see from 2023, 2024, and 25, we've got an upward trend. 22% more listings added to the market from a total standpoint, July of this year versus July of last year. But if you go all the way back to 2020, 3877, we're still below then. So that's another thing to confuse you economically, how we have more people moving in here. Not really maximum listings added, but we still have these issues that we're going with. Once again, to give you a little July average sales price, because this is really what buyers are reacting to. That's the kind of the baby bluish bar. The blue line is the monthly P&I. Obviously, there's a big increase if you're going to look at 2025 versus 2019, but I'd rather look at what's going on since 2023 and 2024, 25. You can see it's been fairly stable in terms of average sales price for the month of July, and therefore the monthly PI has been stable as well. So the buyers are pretty much into this environment. It's not as wild as it has been. Now, here we get to the wild stuff. Percent of end of month listings with at least one price drop from original. We've been in this year now. January's on the left and July's on the right. There is seasonality to this. You're not really going to see a lot of price dropping in January, but look at the amount that you see in May, June, and July, above 40%, almost 49% in June and 48% in July. That's higher than what's I've read in terms of national price dropping. But instead of viewing this as a negative, let's view it as, hey, the sellers and the listing agents are reacting to market conditions and dropping the price. If they did not do that, we'd have a stuck market, and it would be a big fat mess. So here we go on these two lines. We got the number of expired and withdrawn listings just on a number standpoint. I never really paid attention to withdrawn listings because it could be for any reason, right? There's all sorts of reasons, but in my opinion, expired listings are really expired because the price was wrong, and that was it. So I've always emphasized the expired listing metric versus the withdrawn. Either way, if you compare January to July, you can see there's a significant increase, certainly in withdrawn. And I'm thinking that's a little bit of this. There's a narrative in the national media about sellers throwing tantrums and delisting their properties because they're not getting the price that they want, even before they go to expired. So I'm going to kind of agree with that. Now, if we look at a metric we can look at here, is the red line is the percentage of expired listings in terms of those added to the market. You can see in January it was 14%. And then if you see in July, it went all the way up to 27%. So certainly an increase in that. The green line is the average list price of what is on the market at the end of the month. And if you see the lines, they do kind of correlate a little bit, which I found that fascinating. So as list prices increases, the percentage of expired listings in terms of those added to the market increases as well. Now we're going to look at kind of a combination of both. The red line is the percentage of withdrawn listings compared to those that of total listings added, and the green line is the percentage of adding up the withdrawn and the expired. You can call them delisted. I've called them failed listings before. Once again, you can see the percentages, and this is for July, so this is not during this year. This is July all the way back to 2019. You can see there's a steady upward trend in both of those. All right, so if I list my house for sale, will buyers come? What's this standoff about? Let's go over some points. Supply and demand are still in undersupply territory, so keep that in mind. End of month new home listings are up 404%. That's not a typo compared to July of 2021. Number 3, total listings added to the market were up 22% compared to July of 24. Once again, the July average sales price and monthly PI have been stable over the past 3 months of July. And 4 more bullet points for you. 48% of July end-of-month listings had at least one price drop. That's up from 40% in July of 2024. Really what piqued my curiosity in terms of doing this video, I subscribed to a guy who writes about national real estate, and he referenced this statistic that he got from Realtor.com. 59% of Miami area listings added to the market during the second quarter, were delisted, and that's 38 compared to 38% in our market. So I guess we're worse bad than they are. If you want to go with that, go for it. There's certainly a correlation between increasing prices and the number of withdrawn and expired listings. And there's also a correlation between increased inventory and number of expired and withdrawn listings. So keep that in mind. This is really important to counsel your sellers, because I really feel like if you go back to the big part, I think there's a big misunderstanding about market conditions, certainly from sellers and sadly from listing agents as well. And they're really, when you have an undersupply of a thing, that thing should sell. And if you remember what I've been kind of going on ad nauseum about, the correct days on market in this market is 10 days. If it's priced correctly, it's going to sell in 10 days. If it's not going to sell in 10 days. So study up on your market conditions, because you need to study up, because you need to be a professional, and you need to counsel your sellers on that. So that is all I have for now. Once again, provide appraisals, mortgage, relo, attorneys, sellers, buyers, all those things. I've got capacity for Tarport Consulting. If you like this video, please click on it. There's the contact information, and we will see you next time.